Good afternoon, live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. US strikes Iran's 3 nuclear sites, Fordo, Natanz and Isfahan. Iran says US violated international law. President Trump, in address to the nation, says Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely obliterated, warns Iran must now make peace.
Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hails Trump's bold decision. Israel raises nationwide alert levels. India's Operation Sindhu gains momentum. 1,117 Indian nationals evacuated from Iran so far. Sri Lanka and Nepal thank India for evacuating their nationals. The United States entered the Israel-Iran conflict by launching airstrikes on three of Iran's key nuclear facilities. American B-2 stealth bombers targeted Fordo, Natanz and a third site near Isfahan in an overnight operation. Still images released by the White House shows US President Trump and his group of advisors attending a meeting in the Situation Room on Saturday. Trump said US forces struck Iran's 3 principal nuclear sites, Natanz, Isfahan and Fordo. Following the strikes on 3 Iranian nuclear sites, US President Trump addressed the nation on Sunday, calling it a spectacular military success. Trump said US military conducted a very successful attack.
The US military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime, Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success.
The President said that US operation marked the first direct American military involvement in Iran's ongoing conflict with Israel.
Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate, in particular.
President Trump also praised Israel and its leadership for the joint coordination.
I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades.
And issuing a final warning to Tehran, Donald Trump said if peace does not come quickly, they will go after those other targets with precision, speed and skill.
There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu congratulated U.S. President Trump after American president said U.S. military bombed 3 nuclear sites in Iran. In his address, Netanyahu said Trump's decision to strike Iran will change history.
Congratulations, President Trump. Your bold decision to target Iran's nuclear facilities with the awesome and righteous might of the United States will change history. In Operation Rising Lion, Israel has done truly amazing things. But in tonight's action against Iran's nuclear facilities, America has been truly unsurpassed. It has done what no other country on earth could do. History will record that President Trump acted to deny the world's most dangerous regime the world's most dangerous weapons. His leadership today has created a pivot of history that can help lead the Middle East and beyond to a future of prosperity and peace. President Trump and I often say, peace through strength. First comes strength, then comes peace. And tonight, President Trump and the United States acted with a lot of strength. President Trump, I thank you. The people of Israel thank you. The forces of civilization thank you. God bless America. God bless Israel. And may God bless our unshakable alliance, our unbreakable faith.
And in his first public remarks after U.S. strikes, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has accused U.S. of breaching international law. Iranian Minister Araghchi said in a social media post, and I quote, "The United States, a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, has committed a grave violation of the UN Charter, international law and the NPT by attacking Iran's peaceful nuclear installations. The events this morning are outrageous and will have everlasting consequences. Each and every member of the UN must be alarmed over this extremely dangerous, lawless and criminal behavior." He added that Iran reserves all options to defend its sovereignty, interests and people. Israel's military said on Sunday it had detected 2 waves of missiles fired from Iran as air raid sirens rang out in Tel Aviv and explosions rocked Jerusalem. The Israeli military in a statement said that sirens sounded in several areas across Israel following the identification of missiles launched from Iran towards the state of Israel. The Israeli military, meanwhile, said it launched a fresh series of strikes on Sunday targeting military targets, including missile launchers in western Iran, after the United States attacked the country's nuclear sites. Further said, Israeli Air Force is operating to intercept and strike where necessary to eliminate the threat. The statement also added that Israeli Air Force had struck missile launchers ready to launch towards Israeli territory. Soldiers in the Iranian armed forces and swiftly neutralized the launchers that launched missiles towards Israeli territory. Israel has meanwhile closed its airspace for all flights. However, land crossings with Egypt and Jordan will remain open till further orders. The reaction of the world leaders after U.S. forces struck 3 Iranian nuclear sites on Sunday, Iran time, ranged from Israel lauding President Trump's decision to the UN calling for de-escalation and some countries condemning the attack. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is describing the U.S. attacks on Iran as a dangerous escalation, warning that the conflict in West Asia could quickly get out of control. The UN chief in a social media post says, and I quote, "I am gravely alarmed by the use of force by the United States against Iran today. This is a dangerous escalation in a region already on the edge and a direct threat to international peace and security." He says there is growing risk that this conflict could rapidly get out of control with catastrophic consequences for civilians, the region and the world. The UN chief called on member states to de-escalate and to uphold their obligations under UN Charter and other rules of international law. He said, at this perilous hour, it is critical to avoid a spiral of chaos. There is no military solution. The only path forward is diplomacy. The only hope is peace. Meanwhile, Venezuelan Foreign Minister said Venezuela condemns U.S. military aggression against Iran, demanded an immediate cessation of hostilities. Mexico's foreign ministry has also urgently called for diplomatic dialogue for peace between the parties involved in the Middle East conflict. Mexico said the restoration of peaceful coexistence among the states of the region is the highest priority. Cuba's President Miguel Diaz-Canel strongly condemned the U.S. bombing of Iran's nuclear facilities. He said the aggression violates the UN Charter, international law, and plunges humanity into crisis with irreversible consequences. Colombia's foreign ministry urged all parties to resume negotiations as the only responsible and lasting way out of the current crisis. And DD India correspondent Vinod Kumar is joining us live from West Asia with more. Vinod, as the US joins Israel to strike Iran, what are the implications of the region and what is the latest that you're learning?
Shubin, the US has launched airstrikes on 3 major nuclear sites in Iran, and the region is on the edge as Iran prepares for a response. After the US strikes, Iran had struck various parts of Israel, including Haifa, Tel Aviv, and reportedly they have used for the first time the Khyber hyper-precise missile attacks on Israel. And we also know that this is for the first time that Iran has used hypersonic missiles against any enemy, and multiple areas in Israel has been struck. We all of us know that Iran has got an excellent air defense system in the name of Iron Dome, but they have a 3-layered system, which are Iron Dome, the David Sling, and the Arrow 192. These Arrow 192 missile defense systems directly intercept Iranian ballistic missiles, but the report says that Israel is fast running out of this Arrow missile interceptors. So definitely there is a possible escalation of Iran against Israel, considering the nature of the US attacks. Second, another concern is that Iran might directly attack American military bases in the Middle East. There are at least 19 such bases spread across various countries like Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and even in the place that I report from UAE, we have got the Al Dhafra Air Force Base, which boasts of 10 squadrons of United States. So all these Air Force bases of United States are definitely under threat, and US has also got their 5th naval flight in Manama. This is in relation with the direct attacks on military bases. Iran can also do asymmetric warfare in the form of blockade of Strait of Hormuz, where the world's 20 to 30% of the world's oil flows. 20 million barrels of oil flow through the Strait of Hormuz. It's very easy for Iran. It's just in the backyard of Iran. It's very easy for them to use anti-ship missiles or mines to target the shipping vessels that pass through this area. But there is, when we consider the presence of the US Fifth Fleet and the USS Carrier Strike Group, Nimitz is already in place. I doubt there is a plausible option for Iran to attack ships that pass through this area. But we have history.
Okay.
In the Iran-Iraq war in 1980s, Iran has blockaded this strait, and US had come with a project Operation Earnest Will, accompanying accompanying Kuwaiti tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran also have capabilities for cyber warfare. They have demonstrated their cyber warfare capabilities across the world. And most importantly, not only in this region, US itself can face this asymmetric warfare. The porous border between United States and Mexico poses a great challenge. There is a non-zero probability that there might be terrorist attacks in various parts of the world where United States personnel and United States assets are present. These are the way in which Iran can retaliate, and this area is becoming fast dangerous.
Right. Vinod, also given diverse engagement and interest in West Asia, how should India be looking at these developments?
This is actually a very important thing. All these 3 parties which is involved in this war, Israel, United States, and Iran, India have very good, excellent relations. We have got military relations with United States, trade relations, excellent military and defense relations with Israel. Also, Iran is a member of BRICS. Iran is also one of the major voices of the global south. And we have our strategic ports in Chabar. We have got trade relations. We have got oil relations. and we have got a huge Indian diaspora staying in this area. So it is very pertinent that India walks a very tightrope walk in this particular war. India should seek for a diplomatic solution for this war, and should always try to get this de-escalated for the benefit of not only for the Indian diaspora but for the world trade and India's global presence as the voice of global South.
Vinod, thank you for joining us with those updates. The International Atomic Energy Agency said on Sunday that there has been no increase in the off-site radiation levels after US airstrikes on Iranian nuclear sites. The UN watchdog, in a social media post, stated that the IAEA can confirm that no increase in off-site radiation levels has been reported as of this time. It further said that UN Nuke Agency will provide further assessments on the situation in Iran as more information becomes available. Iranian authorities, meanwhile, said there was no danger to residents in the city of Qom, south of Tehran, following the US attack on a nearby mountain-buried nuclear enrichment site. The crisis management headquarters in the province of Qom, in a statement, said there is no danger to the people of Qom and the surrounding area around the Fordo nuclear enrichment site, said the province crisis management department. The statement was carried out by the IRNA news agency. Comes after Trump said Iran's nuclear sites have been obliterated. Meanwhile, Israel has closed airspace after US strikes on Iran. Amid the ongoing Israel-Iran conflict, a breakthrough in diplomacy, India has successfully persuaded Tehran to open its airspace for evacuation flights. The result, more than 1,100 Indian nationals have now been brought home safely, with 6 flights operated so far. The latest, an Airbus Mahan Airlines flight from Mashhad, carried 290 evacuees back to Delhi. Most of them were students caught in the crossfire. DD India's Taposh Bhattacharya spoke exclusively to some of the returnees who shared stories of fear, hope and relief.
Flight from Iran, Mashhad, has just landed here.
We landed safely in India. I am very, very happy. Thanks to so much for Indian government, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and all of the author and the media.
It's a huge point because a lot of people were thinking how to get back here. Ma'am, आपका एक्सपीरियंस क्या था, थोड़ा बताइए. I mean, कैसा रहा, आपको डर लग रहा था वहाँ पे ईरान में?
The Indian government and Indian embassy people were very supportive. Every day when we used to call them, they used to reply us back. ऐसा नहीं है कि they never ignored us or anything. And even the Irani people, they were welcomed us. They helped us a lot. And thanks to Indian embassy, we are back.
Huge word of the Indian government and the way Indian embassy have worked in tandem to get these people from Iran back in India safely, sound, and they are thanking the government as well as the embassy and the Iranian people out there to coordinate and make this Operation Sindhu a massive success. With camera person Praveen, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for DD India from Delhi.
As nations are in the process to evacuate their citizens from conflict-stricken Iran, India extended its helping hands towards neighboring countries, Sri Lanka and Nepal, to assist them to evacuate their nationals from the West Asian country. Showing their gratitude towards the Indian government, Sri Lanka's foreign ministry took to social media and says, and I quote, Sri Lanka extends sincere gratitude to Government of India for timely assistance to evacuate Sri Lankan nationals from Iran alongside Indian nationals. This act of solidarity exemplifies the strong and enduring partnership between the nations and is deeply appreciated by the people of Sri Lanka. And thanking her Indian counterpart, Dr. S. Shankar, Nepal's Foreign Minister, Dr. Arzu Rana Deoba, on social media says, thank you, Dr. Jaishankar, for India's swift assistance in helping to evacuate Nepali nationals from Iran. She says India's support in Nepal's evacuation efforts is a reflection of the strength of Nepal-India ties. Speaking on the US strikes on Iranian nuclear sites, India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal said that war is not the way to solve problems. It should be solved through dialogue and diplomacy.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी निरंतर इस सोच के रहे हैं कि युद्ध मार्ग नहीं है, समस्याओं के समाधान का डायलॉग और डिप्लोमेसी, बातचीत के माध्यम से, कूटनीति के माध्यम से समस्याओं का समाधान होना चाहिए.
I'm waiting for a short break. There's more coming up.
India's cities and villages, many are rethinking the way we live, the way we work, and even the way we grow. And these small shifts have the potential to actually transform our collective future.
We have conducted workshops. We do projects mostly for individuals or also corporates. So we are saying we are salvaging material and we are trying to work on it to increase the life of material.
In the short period of time, they were able to reduce the cost by 50%, living time by 70%. This is where the excitement is coming.
We are mainly focusing the afforestation program like tree banking, oxygen park, green island.
Fish feces is known as sludge and can be used for plantain farming, which didn't only help my plantain farming, but also all the other crops that I started to grow.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Every year on June 21st, people around the world celebrate International Day of Yoga, a practice that goes beyond the mat. In the Netherlands, the Indian Embassy hosted a special commemoration at the residence of Ambassador Kumar Tuhin. DD India correspondent Mark Limburg was there to capture how yoga continues to build bridges between people, cultures and countries.
That often feels rushed and divided, millions of people every day turn to yoga, an ancient practice that offers stillness, strength and connection. Today, at India House in The Hague, the International Day of Yoga is being commemorated by Ambassador Kumar Tuhin and a group of international guests, not just as a physical discipline, but as a universal language of peace, mindfulness and unity.
A very warm welcome to all of you on this 11th International Day of Yoga, celebrations on this wonderful day. Yoga serves as a profound cultural bridge, and it furthers understanding and appreciation between two countries.
From New Delhi to New York to the Netherlands, yoga continues to bring people together. And if you ask the people here today, it's not only a path to inner balance, it's also a bridge between cultures.
This union is a path to peace and to health and to harmony.
I think the entire philosophy of yoga, the simplicity of movement, but the kickback out of this movement is so great that I think it's very, very beneficial to everyone.
We can see it here. So we were a lot of with my fellow ambassadors from different countries, and it was just a simple call, and everybody found it very interesting and gathered here on Saturday, and it was the really incredible initiative of our Indian colleague.
Focus less on the stress and the anxiety that's in your everyday life. So if you as a society all start to focus on that rather than on the tensions between people, then obviously that will bring more peace and calm.
From India House in The Hague, the Netherlands, this is Mark Limburg reporting for DD India.
The 11th International Day of Yoga was celebrated in Madrid with fervour and mindfulness, set against the stunning background of one of Spain's most iconic landmarks. DD India correspondent Atma Sindhu reports from Madrid.
Hundreds gathered at Plaza de Oriente in front of the Royal Palace of Madrid to celebrate the International Day of Yoga. Unrolling their mats beneath the open sky, the city awoke to a collective rhythm of breath and movement. This is the 11th year of Yoga Day celebrations in Spain, marking it as one of the biggest annual events boosting India's soft power on a global scale.
Loka samasta, sukhino bhavan. Yoga cultivates kindness, compassion, and unity. So let's breathe in purity and unity, and let's breathe out wars and hatred. Happy International Day of Yoga.
In Spain, this is not the only location we celebrate yoga. This is just the one location. We have already celebrated yoga in at least 15 cities in Spain. So it's a big event here, and Spanish people enthusiastically participate in the event, and it's very interesting.
Organized by the Embassy of India in Madrid in collaboration with local partners, the event brought together diplomats, yoga practitioners, Spanish citizens, and members of the Indian diaspora in a shared celebration of holistic well-being. Certified instructors guided the crowd through sequences of asanas and pranayam, reflecting this year's global theme, Yoga for One Earth, One Health.
Being an Indian for us, it's a very proud moment that yoga is getting to each and every corner of the world. And especially in Spain, the number of people who are practicing yoga is increasing day by day. And it's really proudful moment for us. And once again, happy International Yoga Day from Spain.
The message is loud and clear. Health and harmony are universal aspirations, now more important than ever in a world facing environmental and mental health challenges. The celebration today once again affirmed that yoga transcends bridges across continents, cultures, and generations. This is Sindhu in Spain for DD India.
An embassy of India in Rabat also celebrated International Day of Yoga in Morocco. The event saw participation in large numbers, including the diplomatic community, journalists, members of Indian community, and officials from the government of Kingdom of Morocco.
Bend your left knee.
That's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.